Second thing, this is really important. This will be your student portal access. For those of you who don't know what that is, we will cover that today as well. Third thing, and very important, for all of you that are going to be freshmen next year in college, got to talk about orientation and scheduling your freshman fall classes as well. We'll talk about the FAFSA. This one should be pretty quick. There are just a couple of things that I know are holding some students up with regard to their FAFSA. So we will cover that today as well. And then financial aid, which is obviously connected to that. As I always say, if you cannot pay for college, you cannot go to college. So financial aid is very, very important. And then we'll kind of wrap up with deadlines for you guys and reminders for things that you guys need to do. So at this point, now that you guys have graduated from Valor and you are all either 18 or soon to be 18, one thing that's really important to remember is you're adults. Ms. Lepore and I will always be in contact with you, but we will treat you more like peers once you graduate. So those deadlines are really things that are sort of important for you to make sure, like for courtesy's sake and for just so that we can work better together, that you're holding yourself to those deadlines and holding yourself accountable. Good practice for college too, which we'll talk about. Okay, we will not bury the lead. We will start with something that is very important. We will start with diplomas. Ms. Chavez has arranged a tentative date, meaning it is not certain yet, but we are shooting for Tuesday, August 4th, which is in a few weeks. Here's what we need from you to make sure that you get your diploma. This one's really important. So some of you, probably not many of you, might have charges outstanding with the office because, unfortunately, due to COVID, a lot of our activities were canceled or postponed. There are not going to be very many of these. This would be something from before March. So just make sure that you know about those things and reach out to Ms. Chavez directly. And then as far as we go, we need to meet about your fall plans. So this can be via Zoom, this can be via phone, this can be via text or email. It doesn't have to be super formal. A lot of you who are on this call I've already talked to about your fall plans, so that is good. That means you are cleared for me to receive your diploma. But just to be clear, everybody does have to have a direct contact with myself before they receive their diploma. Please make sure if you have friends that are not on the call today that you tell them that, because a lot of them are going to be like, why can't I get my diploma? So you make sure to message that to them, because that's very important as well. So there's two ways, and two really easy ways that you can sort of check the boxes from me. You can provide me with your college portal information. That means I have the documents that I need to ensure that you have a plan for next year. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, because it is optional, you can give me a copy of your fall class schedule and a copy of your financial aid award. That is, the second one is only for the 4-year students, and we will talk about why the 2-year students don't have to provide that right away. It's not because you won't get financial aid. You're all going to get financial aid. It's because the process comes later for 2-year students. For those of you who are not planning to attend school right away, we can have a different conversation about that, but you still need to check in with me and talk through what your plan is for the fall. So all of the graduating students need to have a meeting with myself and make sure that Ms. Chavez has cleared you. Ms. Santoya and Ms. Lepore have already done their work on the academic side, so we know that part of it already. The last two things are really myself and Ms. Chavez. I will pause there. Ms. Lepore, are there any questions in the chat room?
So far, there are none.
That means I'm doing well. Okay.
Yes.
Remember, if you have a question, you can chat it at Ms. Lepore. She will get it to me. Now, some of you may be saying, what is a student portal? That is an excellent question. All colleges have portals. It does not matter if you're going to a 2-year school or a 4-year school or even a vocational technical school. They will all have some kind of portal that gives you access to your student account gives you access to your class schedules, your financial aid award, and your grades, which is very important. For those of you going to CSUN, this portal is called the My Northridge portal. A lot of you have talked to me about this already. A lot of you have already logged in. We'll go into specifics here in a second. For those of you going to community college, it is called the Student Information System. They redid this last year, and it is very, very easy to use now. It used to be very complex. So that is good news for those of you going to an LA community college. For those of you going to UCs or private schools, it is unique to your school, but definitely something I can help you with. I've worked with over 120 different college portals. I'm sure I can get you the right answer for yours. And then, like I said, it varies from school to school if you're not one of those categories. Now, as I mentioned on the last page, one way you can automatically clear this summer checklist is to make sure that I have your updated portal information. The reason for that is because I will mostly be checking for two things. I will be checking for your financial aid to make sure that it is correct. And I will also be checking for your class schedule to make sure that you're in a good schedule for you so that you are set up for success as a first semester freshman. The hardest semester of college for most of our students is the first one. So if you do well in your first semester, both with your academics and your money, there's a very good chance you will continue to be successful. That is why first semester freshmen are so important. That's you guys. Here's another reason this is important. If you have trouble accessing your portal or you can't find your student ID number, first of all, you can contact me and I can help direct you to the right direction. But really who you need to contact is your college or university's what's called IT department. These people are very helpful for you. We have one at Valor. Many of you may have seen them running around and fixing computers and fixing the internet. They are crucial to you being successful in college as well. So make sure that if you can't get that information that you reach out to us right away. Okay, I will pause again. Ms. Laporte, do we have any questions about student portals?
It's just one more of a personal question.
Okay.
That they're having trouble logging into their portal.
Great.
So
Great.
I just got who it is, so I could give you more. I can let you know afterwards.
Perfect. That's great. I will definitely help you. So thank you for that question. So this is what the homepage of the My Northridge portal looks like. When you are asked to log in, you're given a user ID space. For those of you going to CSUN, this was emailed to you probably in like April, May, or June. It could have even been earlier than that for those of you who accepted earlier than that. And then you had to set up your password. As you can see over here on the left side where it says navigation, if you forgot your password or if you don't have a user ID, you can click those links and it can help you to recover that. I know you guys are familiar with that because you've probably done it for other things. This is called the SIS system. So for all of you who are attending a Los Angeles community college, that is one of the 9 colleges listed on the left side. So that would be, for most of us, that's either Mission, Pierce, or Valley College. You guys will use the same login system no matter which of those schools you go to. And it asks you for your student ID number, which right here it says has 9 digits. That's important to remember as well. And it also asks you for your password. And this is your first password format. So I'll give you an example. If you have never logged into this portal before, all of your passwords are the same, except for one thing. So if you look at where it says 88@P1212, everybody's password the first time they log in starts with 88@. The next letter is the first letter of your last name. So I put P because my last name is Petrie. And then the 4 numbers at the end are your birth date. So the first 2 are the month. My month is December. And then the next 2 are the date, which is the 12th, 12/12. So if your birthday was July 4th and your last name was Ramirez, your birthday would be 88@R0704. Does that make sense? Ms. Laporte, did that make sense? You can thumbs up me. Great. Perfect. So everybody can log in the first time and then it will ask you to change your portal. Remember, that's only for those of you at the community college level. I'll pause there for a second. Ms. Laporte, are we good to go? Great. So let's talk about orientation and class schedules. This applies to everybody. I'm sure you probably already know this, but because of the COVID pandemic and the recent surge in Los Angeles, All freshman orientation will be online for 2020. That actually makes your life a lot easier. For Cal State students and for students going to community college, they are through your online portal. You can just log into your portal and there will be a space where it says orientation. If you're having a problem finding those, I can help you find it, but I have included the links. So for those of you going to CSUN, this will be your link. I'm gonna send this to you. For those of you going to the LA City College, here is your link. It's also in your portal there. So that's the important part, is that you go online and you say, what am I doing here? For those of you going to UCs or private schools, it's all different depending on what your school is communicating to you. So just make sure you're checking your email, checking your school email, and looking for your dates for orientation. This is very important. For those of you, and I know there are many of you on this call who are going to CSUN or another Cal State, if you want to schedule classes, you have to schedule an advising appointment. That can be one of the things that holds freshmen back. They just don't know what they're looking for. Luckily for you, I have included the link in this page. You can call them, you can email them, and they will set up an individual advising appointment that's just for you, which is awesome. For UCs, like I mentioned before, yours will happen during your orientation. Typically, you will pick out your classes during your orientation as well. So that's kind of a one-on-one thing that all of you guys have to do. For those of you who are going to community college, you guys should reach out to me directly. I have already scheduled several students for the fall semester. I will make sure to get you in a good schedule and make sure that everything goes as to plan, and that all your classes will be what's called transferable for when you transfer to a Cal State or a UC. Here's the last thing, and then I'll take some questions if we have any. Freshmen, all of you should have between 12 and 18 credits. 12 is the lowest you should have. 18 is the most you should have. I do not recommend taking 18 credits as a freshman. It's 6 classes. It's very difficult, but technically you can take 6 classes. I would not do it. I always recommend that people start with 15 or 16 credits. That means 5 classes. That is a normal college load. It also allows you to drop a class if you're struggling at no penalty, because then if you drop, you go from 15 to 12 and you're still considered a full-time student. The reason being considered a full-time student is of crucial importance is it's financial aid based. So you do not get financial aid fully if you are less than 12 credits. That was a lot of information. Do we have any questions about scheduling? For those of you who have questions about individual stuff, shoot me a message or an email and we'll walk through it.
So far, no questions.
Perfect. So just remember that you don't have to memorize all this stuff. That's why we're here to help support you. But these are just kind of the basics. I'm going to send you this presentation. So that way, if you're like, man, what did he say? You can just go back and click the link, and then it makes your life a lot easier. The FAFSA. This is something you guys are actually all really well versed at already. Mrs. Lepore, myself, helped you with a lot of this last year. For the most part, most of you do not have to worry about this until next year. However, I've noticed a couple of issues. A few people actually have not completed it. It's not very many. If you are one of those people, just get a hold of me right away and we'll figure out a solution. This one is the only thing I've seen cause problems. You need to make sure that the school you're actually going to received your FAFSA. Most of you did this already. Most of you did it the first time. You had those like 10 schools to pick from. But for some of you, you might have left the school out or you might have picked the wrong one. It's not a big deal. You just have to log into FAFSA and add the school. It takes like 2 minutes. I can help you with that. Ms. Lepore can help you with that. It's really easy. One thing that we'll talk about later, this isn't super important right now, I would save a copy of your student aid report. It's on the front page because the student aid report has something called your EFC, which is crucially important, and that will help us determine your financial aid. If the school hasn't given you aid yet, we can guess what your financial aid is going to be. So if you did not pick the correct school and you go in, you have to click a button that says make corrections. It's not really a correction, but that's how you have to click the button. And then you go to the school selection page and you search for your school and you add it. So if I'm going to CSUN, but I thought I was not going to go to CSUN, I go in and I add Cal State Northridge as my school. Takes 2 minutes, click submit, and add the school. Last thing on the FAFSA, if you are one of those students who has to make this correction, just know that this does not hurt your financial aid standing at all. We all did your FAFSAs before March 2nd, and that means that as long as your first FAFSA was completed by March 2nd, you are good to go, even if you have to make a correction. So don't think this is gonna like hurt you or take money away from you. It is not, so that is good. Okay, do we have questions about FAFSA? Nope. We'll keep moving. Just as a reminder, if you are trying to log into the FAFSA, I did link it right here on this page. That's a link I would just save on your phone or your computer. You'll at least have to do it once a year. For a lot of you, you'll have to do it more than once a year. And this is what it looks like. So if you get to a page and it doesn't look like this, it means you probably didn't do it correctly. So just let me know. We'll work through it. No big deal. Financial aid. Now, this is the more important part because this part has to do with the future. FAFSA is sort of the past. Now we're going forward. If you are a 4-year student, this is the 3rd time I've said this, you have to submit your financial aid award to me. Now, if I have your portal login information, I already have it. So that means you're already cleared. That's why giving me your portal is very helpful to you. If you're a 2-year student, the reason you do not have to submit your financial aid is because I will make sure that you are all applied for the LA Promise Scholarship and you will be tuition free. That's good. The other thing that's really good news is that if you complete your FAFSA, you can also get a Pell Grant. That means you get money back to go to college. So we had students last year get as much as $3,000 to $4,000 back, free, no loans, nothing to borrow. It's awesome stuff. That's why you don't have to submit your application or your aid award to me if you're a 2-year. This is good to know. Obviously, with everything that's going on, Cal States and UC schools are behind. So some of you, if you log into your financial aid award, it might be blank. I understand that. I understand that that is nerve-wracking. It can be very difficult to deal with. The good news is because we have your FAFSA, I can estimate what your award is going to be. Even if the award is not there, I will give you a ballpark estimate. This is very important. This is one of those perk your ears up moments. For those of you, some of you, the reason you don't have a financial aid award is because you have something to do. That's called a to-do list. It's actually called that. If you see this in your financial aid portal, don't panic. Don't worry about it. Just get a hold of me right away. Because the first time you have to do this, it's not simple. It's not easy. It's not clear. Once you're a sophomore, junior, senior, you'll know how to do this stuff in like 5 minutes. So it's just the kind of thing that the first time you have to submit this, just get a hold of me right away. We'll fix it. Usually I can do it in under an hour. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. This is the great news. Because we are all remote learning for the fall, not so great news, you guys are mostly going to be tuition free. So if you were thinking you're going to East Bay or Sac State and man, how am I going to make that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 extra payment? That's not going to happen. You're most likely you're going to get money back. I'll say that again. Most of you are going to get money back for the fall semester directly to you in the form of typically a direct deposit into your bank account. Also, if you don't have a bank account yet, get your own bank account. Usually Bank of America or Chase are the best because they're everywhere. You can travel, you can go all over. Wells Fargo is another good one. They're kind of all over. Those are usually the 3 that I recommend. But that way your money does not come in the form of a check. It doesn't go to your house. It doesn't get lost in the mail. It goes right into your account. I know Miss Lepore has direct deposit. I don't even have to ask her because she just seems like that kind of a lady. You want that money in there as soon as possible. Questions about financial aid. A lot of these would be like one-on-one questions. So if you have any, just get a hold of them. Go ahead.
Oh, I think that's more of a personal question. So again, I'll let you know who it is.
Great. Thank you for asking questions. Here's what the to-do list looks like. I'm giving you an example from my Northridge. They all pretty much look like this. So this is what the homepage of the My Northridge portal looks like. That little tab right there is called Financial Matters. That's where you have to click, and it pulls up a menu. This menu will be on the bottom right. See right there where it says to-do list? For the to-do list, that is the button you click and it pulls up this menu. For most of you, this menu will be blank. It will not say anything. It will say no items found. That is good. You don't want items found. If you do have something, this one is very common. It is called a tax transcript. This is not something a 17 or an 18-year-old knows how to do. I will show you how to do it. And then next year, you can do it on your own. Just get a hold of me if you have any problems with this. So that thing right there, I can help you with that. Here's what a financial aid award will look like. This is from a Cal State school. They all look the same. As you can see, this student, if you look on the left, received both a federal Pell Grant and a state university grant for the fall. That total amount is going to be $12,000. Good news for this student, Cal State does not cost $12,000 for tuition, it costs more like $8,000. That means this student will be receiving about a $4,000 refund. $4,000 back into their pocket. Here's how that breaks down by semester. You can see that each semester is different. We have fall 2020, we have spring 2021, and it breaks it in half basically. For most of you, you will get financial aid in August and you will get it again in January. For those of you who are on the UC system or the quarter system, you guys will get it in September, December, and March. No summer financial aid. Most of you won't go to summer school anyway. That's why they don't have financial aid. So one more time. If you're a semester student, you get it twice a year, fall, spring. If you are a quarter student, you get it 3 times a year, fall, winter, spring. Let me know if you have any questions about that. We have come to the last slide, which is good news. The easiest way to get rid of all these things at one time is to make sure that I have your portal information. That way you're cleared for your diploma. That way you know that I'm monitoring your financial aid and you know that I'm checking your schedule to make sure that you don't have a really tough schedule or something that's just not right. If you have a class that's wrong, I can look at all of that in real time. It'll help you a lot. You don't even have to be paying attention. I'll be paying attention for you. This is super important. For those of you going to a Cal State school, especially those of you going to CSUN, you have to schedule an academic advising appointment if you have not already. Most of you have. Most of them are in late July or early August. Obviously, they will be virtual. They will not be in person, but make sure you do that as soon as possible. That way you can do your classes, and then I can help you pick your classes, which is what you want. For UC students, your schools have different orientation dates and times. They will be virtual as well. Same, I know there's a couple USF students. They will also have their own dates and times. Just be checking your email and make sure you know when your orientation is. You will likely pick your classes there with the help of an advisor. Once you do that, make sure to reach out to me and we can go over your schedule. I can make sure everything looks right. Typically, your advisors are very good. Occasionally, you get one that's not very good. You might get like a first year out of college student who's never done it. Luckily for you, I'm old, so I've done it quite a few times. Community college kids, not to be left out. We are actually going to make your schedule together. I have put together like 9 different sample schedules for a lot of you who have different majors and different interests, but I will help you with that. So community college, it's real simple. Once you have your student ID, to just reach out to me and we'll do your schedule together. Here goes for everybody. Double check that your FAFSA or your California DREAM Act got sent to the school you plan to. 95% of you did this already. We did it in March. If you have not done that, reach out to us for help. We will be here to help you. Another thing for everybody, check your college portals for to-do lists. And another one is called a hold. Most of you will have a hold right now. That's called a first-time advising hold. That is why you have to do the first step and schedule that advising appointment. Reminder, this is why you came. A lot of you, I know that. Diploma pickup is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, August 4th. That is about 2 weeks away. So you need to make sure you're cleared to pick up your diploma before that time. Easiest way to do that, get a hold of me. We'll work through all the issues that you need to get a hold of. There's my contact info. I'm going to leave that up on the screen. I know most of you have this already. One other thing that I should have mentioned up front, a lot of times like today, you probably got a text message from me about reminding you to come to this meeting. As you'll notice, that number is not my actual phone number. It is coming from a system that is sending 100 texts at once. So if you respond to that, I do see it, but I don't see it on my phone. I see it in my email. So for those of you who have iPhones, you probably know this already. I have an iPhone. You can see right away that I'm responding in real time. This number right here, this 603 number, that is the Mr. Petrie direct line. That is the one that you want to use to get a hold of me right away. It doesn't really matter what time it is. If I'm asleep, I'm just not going to pick it up. But it doesn't matter what time it is. I know you guys' schedules are all over. It is better that I know of these issues sooner than later. So as soon as you think like, man, I might need help with something, hit me up right away. Make sure that I know about it, and then we can solve your solution going forward. Okay. That is it for me on my end. Like I said, I will be sending you guys this PowerPoint. Please, please, please reach out to any of your friends who have not talked to me over the summer and let them know we have to have a meeting. Again, it doesn't have to be long. It can be like a text message meeting. It can be a Zoom call if you need help. But everyone's got to talk to me before you get your diploma. So may as well make it sooner than later. And Ms. Lepore will let me know for you guys who asked individual questions, and I will make sure to get back to you.
Yeah, and then just remember, guys, because I know the biggest thing is going to be the diploma thing, tentatively.
Yes.
So that is not, it is happening. That is, we are hoping that we get the approval and the go-ahead from the people up top. And by the top, I don't mean our principal, I mean like higher. So yeah, top. So we're just waiting for them. And somebody asked about textbooks. I have not received information about that either. So I don't know. In terms of the time for August 4th, we don't know either. And if you want to know if you owe anything to the school, you can contact Ms. Chavez. It's pchavez@brightstarschools.org.
Yep. Excellent reminders, Ms. Lepore. I've also taped this. So for anybody who wants to watch it again, I can send you a file. I'm also going to send you the PowerPoint. And for any students who weren't able to go, we'll make sure that we have that ready to go.
All right. And we have a minute because I guess I have to upgrade if I want it to be longer. But yearbook, same thing. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have a lot of information on that stuff. I'm assuming if we're able to do the diplomas August 4th, then we'll probably do yearbooks then too. I'm hoping. I have no idea.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Mr. Petrie.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys. I miss you all. Bye, guys.
Bye.